We're going to bring thousands and thousands of businesses and trillions of dollars in wealth back to the good old USA. That's what we're
On Wall Street today, a second day of dramatic losses and high anxiety over Donald Trump's global trade war.
And we're going to build NVIDIA's technology, the next generation of that, all here in the United States.
And after a week of tariff whiplash here in the United States as the president's trade war clearly intensifies.
You've never seen anything like what you're going to see, the renaissance of American manufacturing.
Trump's dreams of launching a new American golden age are coming into focus. On January 21st, 2025, he announced a $500 billion investment in artificial intelligence to make America the AI capital of the world. On March 2nd, he announced a strategic crypto reserve to make America the crypto capital of the world. And most people are missing how it all fits together, but soon everything will fall into place and the entire world will have a collective aha moment. You see, just weeks from now, I expect Trump could make an even bigger announcement, an investment in a brand new form of technology which could finally deliver on his promise to truly make America great again, by once again making America the manufacturing capital of the world. And in the process, it could make a lot of people very, very rich. You see, this technology could finally fix the number one flaw plaguing America's manufacturing industry today, which means we can finally tear the manufacturing crown away from China and go back to the glory days of Made in America. The most amazing part is most people have no idea this strange technology exists, which means early investors still stand to make once-in-a-lifetime gains. You see, unlike AI and crypto, this technology has not yet hit the mainstream. However, some of the smartest visionaries on the planet are convinced of its future. ARK Invest, one of the world's top investment management firms, estimates this is a $12 trillion opportunity. According to analysis from Bloomberg Intelligence, that's more than 13 times the projected value of generative AI. Yes, 13 times bigger than a tech which has already minted over 600,000 millionaires. So can you see how huge this opportunity is? It's no surprise the world's richest men are all piling into this new technology. Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, and Jeff Bezos all have positions. And NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang called it a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. And even Elon Musk thinks it could be even bigger. He just went on record and said, if you've got this technology, there is no meaningful limit to the size of the economy. Did you hear that? No limit. This guy revolutionized online payments, passenger vehicles and semi-trucks, the entire aerospace industry, and later this year, the entire personal transportation industry, creating more than $400 billion in personal wealth in the process. So when he's this excited about a new technology, we know it's time to take note. Why are they all raving about this technology? Well, because it could fix the biggest flaw in American manufacturing. As you know, Trump has the relentless drive to make America great again by reshoring manufacturing back to the United States. He wants to usher in a new golden age where proud American men and women make the goods that we see on our shelves and in our homes. And he got close to this during his first term. The National Association of Manufacturers even called it, quote, a historic era for manufacturing. He used everything from tax reform to regulatory overhaul to new trade agreements. However, there was one fatal flaw of American manufacturing that he simply couldn't overcome, and ultimately, it stopped him from achieving his goal. This term, he's bullish about finishing the job. At one rally during his campaign, he prompted rapturous applause when he promised, we are going to take other countries' jobs, we're going to take their factories, we're going to bring thousands and thousands of businesses and trillions of dollars in wealth back to the good old USA. But the only thing that's stopping him is this single fatal flaw in the current manufacturing industry. The National Institute of Manufacturers says this fatal flaw is the number one challenge to manufacturers. In fact, this fatal flaw is the reason Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing has had to delay production in its own chip manufacturing in its plant in Arizona. That's right. This one flaw is stopping a $955 billion manufacturing behemoth from shifting their production to American shores. Just imagine how many American jobs that could create and how much wealth it could bring to the United States. And that is just one of countless examples. According to Forbes, this same fatal flaw is, quote, killing America's manufacturing. For decades, American companies have tried to fix this problem, but failed. But that is all about to change, thanks to this man. Listen, I know Trump and Elon don't always see eye to eye, but the truth is, they do need each other. Even at the height of their recent public spat, Elon reposted this message on X. It reads, quote, "Tech needs Republicans for the present, Republicans need tech for the future." Elon admits that he needs Trump, and Trump knows Elon is the man for the job here. You see, just like Trump turned to Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, as an AI expert to help with the $500 billion AI investment, Trump has pinpointed Elon Musk as America's foremost manufacturing expert. That's right. Doge and the work Musk did to slash U.S. irresponsible spending was just the beginning of Trump and Musk's ultimate plan. Musk has already completed the first phase, root out the fraud, waste, and abuse, and establish Doge to try and help balance the budget. But it's phase 2, which will deliver the productivity boom, which will expand GDP and kickstart America's new golden age. Trump has recently acknowledged Musk's Doge work will continue. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has been quietly testing a new technology to fix the fatal flaw in American manufacturing. And, as I'm about to show you, he's finally cracked it. A brand new technology which could reshore manufacturing to America and allow Trump to fulfill his promises to the American people, potentially bringing generational wealth to early investors. As we've seen countless times before, Elon has pulled off the impossible when it comes to manufacturing. And when he puts his manufacturing might behind companies, it can transform their trajectories, handing investors outsized gains. Elon once boldly claimed, "At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth." At the time, people scoffed, but now they're realizing he might just be right. With Neuralink, he manufactured a product that most experts predicted would fail, a surgically implanted brain-computer interface. Now, I know that it sounds like science fiction, but the company has successfully implanted the Neuralink system into the brains of 3 patients now, and all 3 are doing well and now able to control a computer using only the thoughts in their minds. Private investors could have seen their investment grow 50 times as the company grew from $100 million to $5 billion in valuation. When he founded SpaceX, he was up against an aerospace industry dominated by established players like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. Yet Musk revolutionized and mastered rocket manufacturing, reusability, and cheap access to low Earth orbit. He created rockets that could withstand multiple launches, unlike the disposable rockets from competitors. And he even built a literal World Wide Web in space with his Starlink satellite constellation, making high-speed, low-latency internet available anywhere on the planet. And private investors have reaped the rewards. Venture capitalists who put $1,000 into SpaceX at its inception could sell those shares today for around $180,000 on the private market. And who can forget Tesla? When Musk joined, the company was a scrappy startup relying on external manufacturers, but he transformed the manufacturing process by opening the biggest manufacturing plant in the entire United States and bringing almost the entire supply chain in-house. That manufacturing expertise meant Tesla's stock has seen a staggering increase of over 26,700% since IPO. If you had invested just $1,000 back then, you would now be sitting on around $268,000. Now, of course, these are extraordinary examples, and a number of them were simply not accessible to everyday investors. And while I can't promise gains like these, I'm sure you can see why Trump would recognize Elon is the man for the job when it comes to rescuing America's manufacturing. You see, Trump knows that pulling off this next manufacturing revolution all hangs on just one thing: fixing that fatal flaw in American manufacturing. And the breakthrough technology to make it happen isn't years away. Elon actually already has it, and in fact, he's already testing it in this factory in Fremont, California. Now, please forget what the mainstream media says about Trump and Elon's relationship. I'm about to show you why this whole thing is so much bigger than their public personas, and why they're willing to put any differences aside for our economy and for national security. In fact, this is so urgent for America's future, I believe Trump could be just weeks away from holding a press conference to announce the rollout of this technology across the country. And thankfully, there's still a small window of time to invest in this technology before it comes onto everyone's radar. However, you may not have long. I believe the biggest gains will happen when Trump announces a huge investment in the technology, which could be just weeks away. That's why I'm about to show you exactly what this strange new technology is, why it's so essential for Trump's plans, and how to get the ticker symbols of the little-known companies Elon is relying on to build this technology. So please, pay close attention, as I don't want you to miss out. But before I share all the details, let me introduce myself. My name is Jeff Brown, and I've spent my entire life on the bleeding edge of breakthrough technology. I trained as an aeronautical and astronautical engineer at Purdue University, in the same program that produced Neil Armstrong and dozens of elite astronauts. Unfortunately, a high school football injury disqualified me from NASA's astronaut training program, but I did end up in a place some would argue is even more competitive, on the front lines of global tech innovation. At Boeing, I supported the early days of the 777 aircraft program in what is the largest manufacturing plant on Earth. At Qualcomm, I conducted and led business development with the top wireless and broadcasting companies in the top 30 economies in the world. And I was integrally involved in both 3G and the early days of 4G wireless technology. Then, at NXP Semiconductors tapped me to turn around their operations in Japan, where I worked extensively in the automotive and consumer electronics industries. Eventually, I left the boardrooms behind to do what I love most: spotting the next major tech breakthroughs before Wall Street even sees them coming. And since then, I've invested in hundreds of private tech companies as an angel investor, with returns as high as 5,300%, 7,300%, and even a mind-blowing 11,300%. And I've helped government agencies like the Department of Commerce, NIST, and the Defense Intelligence Agency understand how emerging technologies will reshape our economy and our national security. All that experience in tech has allowed me to spot world-changing trends before anyone else catches on. For example, back in 2015, I published research on Bitcoin. At the time, most Americans had no idea it even existed, but I told my readers to buy it at just $240. You're probably aware it's since broken $110,000, which means anyone who listened back then had the chance to turn a single $1,000 investment into over $457,000. In February 2016, I recommended NVIDIA when most people still thought it was just a gaming stock. Through my research, I showed that it was really the most important emerging artificial intelligence company, and anyone who paid attention and held until the top could have pocketed a 22,589% gain, turning every $1,000 into over $226,000. And those are just a couple of the winners that I picked before the mainstream caught on. I also picked semiconductor company AMD, and I gave my readers the chance to turn $1,000 into over $19,000. I've spent decades building systems, working inside multi-billion-dollar tech companies, and investing in private deals the public never even hears about. That's how I see where the market's going before the headlines hit. And right now, thanks to Trump's new golden age tech, I believe we're looking at a tech transformation which could be bigger than the internet, crypto, and AI combined. And this time, I just don't want you to miss it. So if you've ever felt like you were late to the party, or you've watched others strike it rich on AI, crypto, or semiconductors and wondered, why not me? Please stick with me, because what's coming next could be your second chance. But you may only have a small window of time to take advantage for the biggest gains. You see, the current situation with China means Trump needs to deploy this tech fast. Let me show you why. The mainstream media makes out that America could never become the world's top manufacturing superpower, but somehow they forget. That's exactly what the United States was for decades. At the end of World War I, we surpassed the UK as the world's king of manufacturing, and we retained that crown right up until around 2010. Since then, America's manufacturing has plummeted, while China has snatched more and more of the world's manufacturing market share. In fact, China's production now exceeds that of the 9 largest manufacturers combined. And one top economic think tank recently called China the world's sole manufacturing superpower. How did China leave everybody else in the dust? Well, they played dirty, of course. And Bill Clinton in 2001 gave China access to something called permanent normal trade relations, which made it easy for them. It opened up free trade between China and America, which removed the trade protections that had been keeping jobs in the United States, and handed China the same low tariffs as allies like the UK and Canada. But the problem is, because labor was so cheap in China, it opened up the floodgates for cheap Chinese manufactured goods and encouraged American companies to offshore manufacturing. After all, if their competitors started doing it and cutting costs, the only way to stay competitive was to follow suit. And of course, China smelled blood and they went for the jugular. The official line was that the minimum wage was simply lower in China, which made manufacturing costs lower. But undercover journalists have exposed evidence of shocking conditions at factories like Foxconn, one of Apple's main manufacturing partners. They discovered workers were forced to put in 12-hour shifts, then sleep in 8-person dormitories with their coworkers. Some factories even installed nets to catch workers who couldn't take the pressure anymore and decided to jump from the roof. And that's not even the worst of it. According to the U.S. Department of State, China has as many as 1,200 state-run forced labor camps. And let's not forget China's child labor. The U.S. Department of Labor has found that children as young as 8 are being sold to Chinese factories. Now, if China is willing to use so many underhanded tactics, it's clear to see why American workers simply can't compete. In fact, according to the Coalition for Prosperous America, thanks to China, 3.8 million hardworking Americans have lost their jobs. And now our country is lumped with a huge $295 billion trade deficit. That's right, China is making $295 billion more out of us than we make out of them. So it's no wonder Trump wants to reshore manufacturing to America. But here's the thing. It's way more than just a matter of economics. It is a matter of national security. China has a stranglehold on the manufacturing of medicines that Americans use daily. Now, I'm talking about painkillers and antibiotics, even cancer medications, blood thinners, insulin, heart medications, and so much more. In fact, China supplies the U.S. with a whopping 30% of its active pharmaceutical ingredients, which means if China decides to cut America off, it could paralyze our medical supply chain and even lead to tragic outcomes for those reliant on those drugs. Will China cut us off? Well, there's every possibility, and it could happen sooner rather than later. Top U.S. military commanders are warning that China could invade Taiwan as soon as 2027. And if that happens, we really don't want to be reliant on China for life-saving medications, and we don't want to be reliant on Taiwan for anything either. See, Taiwan is the leading manufacturer of semiconductor. It is literally the home of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corp. and countless number of tech companies that support TSMC in manufacturing chips. They're responsible for 90% of the world's supply of advanced semiconductors. These chips power smartphones and AI, which means they're essential for companies like Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla to operate. So if China invades Taiwan, it basically destroys the U.S. tech industry. That's why it's so essential that Trump reshores manufacturing right now, because by the time China invades Taiwan, it'll be too late to get the infrastructure in place. And sure, people give Trump a hard time for the economic turmoil that he's caused with the tariffs, but the truth is, drastic measures are essential to ensure the safety of our nation. So he's doing whatever's necessary to encourage companies to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And because it's so urgent, it really needed to happen yesterday. And here's the thing. Despite what the mainstream media says, Trump's tactics are working. Just consider this. NVIDIA has commissioned more than 1 million square feet of manufacturing space on U.S. soil. It's building its Blackwell chips in Arizona and AI supercomputers in Texas. Apple said it's committing to spending more than $500 billion on expanding its U.S. manufacturing capabilities over the period of Trump's term. And in March, Taiwanese semiconductor maker TSMC announced a $165 billion total investment in U.S. manufacturing capabilities. However, there is only one major fly in the ointment, a fatal flaw, which, up until now, has stopped Trump from reshoring manufacturing. And that is our vast labor shortage. Now, as I just showed you, it's almost impossible for America to compete with China's enormous cheap manufacturing workforce. They've got over 112 million workers. Their minimum wage is just $1.75 per hour. And that's the workers they actually pay. Compare that to the American manufacturing workforce, which sits at just 13 million currently, with an average wage of $25 an hour. Can you see the issue? China has around 100 million more manufacturing workers than the United States, yet to run that entire huge workforce costs them dramatically less. Worse still, we can't even fill the manufacturing jobs that we've got on offer. Top accounting firm Deloitte estimates a whopping half of American manufacturing jobs will go unfilled between now and 2033. Why? Well, baby boomers are starting to enjoy their well-earned retirements, and Gen Z simply isn't stepping up to the plate. They are just not interested in that kind of work. After the pandemic, 36% of the younger workforce aged 25 to 34 decided to focus on, get this, prioritizing personal growth before re-entering the workforce. And shockingly, almost 25% of the workforce say government benefits incentivize them to not actively look for work. And let's face it, even if they did want to step up, there aren't 100 million of them. And they sure aren't going to work for $1.75 an hour. They aren't even interested in the manufacturing jobs that are currently on offer because they think they're too low paid. So short of setting up forced labor camps or sending our 8-year-olds to factories like they do in China, it might appear that the U.S. has no real way to compete. However, thanks to Trump's new golden age technology, that is all about to change. Now, I'm not talking about some fancy generative AI tool like ChatGPT here. That technology might make it easier to write emails or assist with a homework assignment, but it's not solving any real hard problems. You know, like the fact that China's manufacturing workforce outnumbers ours by 100 million? No, Trump's new golden age tech is something entirely new and different. and I believe it is about to completely upend the balance of world manufacturing, solve our labor shortage, and bring swaths of high-paid manufacturing jobs back to America. And once again, make America the manufacturing capital of the world. And folks who are smart and invest in this tech before it becomes mainstream could position themselves for massive profits. If you want to see what's possible, we only have to look at how Trump's America First manufacturing policies during his first term saw stocks surge. He brought in tax cuts, tariffs, deregulation, and Buy American orders, and it lit a fire under American manufacturing. Tesla was actually the perfect example of a company that took full advantage, a company dedicated to making automobiles right here in the USA. During Trump's first term, Tesla went from a scrappy startup to one of the world's leading vehicle manufacturers. Some smart people saw the writing on the wall and positioned themselves to profit towards the beginning of Trump's first term. I actually pounded the table to buy Tesla to my readers in the spring of 2018. It was considered one of my most controversial recommendations ever. And anyone who paid attention to me and held on could have pocketed gains of up to 2,263%, enough to turn a single $1,000 investment into more than $23,000. And Tesla wasn't the only success story. Far from it. Look at Alpha Metallurgical, a company with mines in central Appalachia, which provides coal to the U.S. steel industry. Trump's America First steel tariffs had companies rushing back to use American steel. And if you had invested in this U.S. steel industry supplier at the beginning of Trump's first term, then rode it out until the top, you could have walked away with gains of up to 509% and turned $1,000 into over $6,000. Or how about American agricultural manufacturer John Deere, which could have handed you a 373% gain if you invested at the start of Trump's first term. And then there's Eastman Kodak. Trump announced a $765 million loan to the company under the Defense Production Act to help them move into manufacturing pharmaceuticals right here in America in order to loosen China's stranglehold on our drug supply chain. And guess what? The stock skyrocketed 1,481% in just 2 days. Yes, just 2 days. Can you imagine putting $1,000 in on Monday and walking away with almost $16,000 on Wednesday? Now, of course, these are extraordinary examples, and I can't promise gains this high, but bear in mind, those incredible gains I just showed you were after a small handful of economic policies which bolstered U.S. manufacturing. The U.S. labor shortage still held back its full might, and that's why I believe what we're about to witness is way, way bigger, because thanks to Trump's new golden age tech, we could soon become the world's only manufacturing superpower. So can you imagine the kind of stratospheric gains which could be possible? Now, of course, getting in early is key, and in just a second, I'll show you exactly how to do that. But first, you're probably wondering exactly what Trump's new golden age tech is and how it will allow us to compete with a workforce 9 times larger than ours that's getting paid peanuts. Well, Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick answered that question recently. He was being attacked by the media over tariffs. They were pressing him on how America could possibly compete with China in manufacturing. His reply? We use robotics here. It's cheaper than cheap labor overseas. The Renaissance will be the greatest factories in the world, high-tech people. What are the jobs Americans are going to have? We are going to have mechanics who fix robotics. Did you hear that? He said in no uncertain word that our government's master plan is to use robotics to patch up our labor shortage, and he is 100% correct. I've been saying the same thing for years. Now, the mainstream media loves to say robotics aren't up to the task, but they have no idea what's about to come. Because we aren't talking about anything like the robotics that already exist in factories. As I'm about to show you, this is a brand new form, which is why this is such a huge opportunity for investors. You see, China already has factories full of robotics. Take the iPhone, for example. Apple's manufacturing partners in China use robotics to install the phone's metal brackets and flexible printed circuit boards. Even so, they still have a huge need for human workers, to the tune of 1.4 million monitored production line employees. People attacking Trump's manufacturing master plan, saying it will be impossible to replace those foreign workers with American robotics. Why? Well, each iPhone contains over 1,600 intricate components, microscrews, LiDAR sensors, flexible circuit boards, multi-layered logic chips, and so on. These have to be assembled into a small handheld device, so the tolerances are micron level. That means even a hair's width error can mean the product is only fit for the trash can. Now, up until now, that kind of precise assembly work has required human fingers guided by trained instincts and real-time vision. In contrast, robotic arms are programmed for pure repetition. However, that is all about to change, because thanks to Elon Musk, robots finally have the capabilities to use trained instinct, real-time vision, and act with the precise dexterity of a human hand. Now, I know that sounds like science fiction, but it's because Elon has created something that I call manifested AI. Musk has taken the kind of AI technology that he uses in his self-driving software, as well as the kind that we experience in something like ChatGPT and his own Grok model, and manifested it into forms that we can easily interact with. The result? Fully autonomous, general-purpose robots which can work without any human assistance. Elon is leading the charge with this technology, and it isn't years away. It is here right now. And if you want to see it in action, just look at Tesla's full self-driving mode. Musk has called the cars semi-sentient robots on wheels, and it actually makes a lot of sense. These cars are equipped with cameras that take in visual data, like our own eyes, and have sophisticated neural networks that act like brains to process that data. And it is incredibly advanced. Just think about it. The brains of the cars have to react in real time at 70 miles per hour, sometimes faster, and be prepared for a constantly changing landscape, including any hazard that might pop up on any road, whether that's being cut off by an 18-wheeler or avoiding a school kid dashing across the road. Tesla's full self-driving mode is the reason Elon is light years ahead of anybody else on the planet with manifested AI. Because while other companies are training their robots in research labs, Musk has a fleet of 7 million robots on the road right now, collecting data every second of the day. Tesla has already collected an unprecedented 22 billion miles of real-world data, and the systems are constantly being improved by over-the-air updates. And now he is translating everything that they've learned with self-driving right over to his breakthrough humanoid robot, Optimus. That's right. After all, the same kind of neural network technology that lets Teslas see and navigate the real world on surface roads and respond to traffic conditions in real time has already been put into use as the foundation for Tesla's humanoid robots to see and navigate the real world and infer the correct course of action without any human input. If you want to see what's possible, just take a look at this video of Optimus walking on uneven ground. Just think of all the split-second computations the robot has to make to stay upright. I mean, many humans would have fallen, but Optimus stayed on its feet. And remember, Optimus has taught itself to do this. It hasn't been programmed. It learned. It is reacting in real time. It's truly breathtaking how advanced this technology is. And it's no wonder that Forbes recently said that Tesla is, quote, reshaping what's possible for the next wave of intelligent automation, and predicted humanoid robotics will transform manufacturing and the global economy. And top investment bank Morgan Stanley even said these robots could, quote, change the fundamental nature of production and how an economy is defined. And remember, ARK Invest has predicted humanoid robots in manufacturing will add $12 trillion to to the economy in just the next 5 years. Yes, not in a few decades from now, in the next 5 years. This revolutionary change is happening as we speak. In fact, Elon already has Optimus working on the factory floor of his Fremont factory alongside human workers. And the production lines are rolling, creating more Optimus robots ready to join the workforce. In fact, Elon has promised to produce a whopping 5,000 robots this year alone and eventually ramp up production to 10 million robots a year. Musk has made no bones about what he's aiming to do with Optimus. He said the aim of his robot is to, quote, eliminate dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks. Just like the kind of factory jobs people don't want in America. And that is precisely why I believe that regardless of what's happening on the public stage, Trump is working with Elon to unleash the full force of robotics and rescue American manufacturing. This is what they're aligned on and working on behind the scenes. And listen, despite what the mainstream media says, this could create a huge employment boom. After all, Trump wants to boost American employment, not make it extinct. It's just that the kind of work that we'll do will change. People could be in charge of a fleet of robots as a mechanic, and these will be rewarding, well-paid jobs. Remember how China has 9 times more manufacturing workers than us? Well, if every American worker oversaw just 9 robots, it would be no problem to quickly outnumber China's workforce. And because the robots won't require payment, the person overseeing the robots could reap the rewards in their paycheck. And look, it is no secret that this is the plan of Trump's government. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick just came out and said plain as day, what's going to happen now is we're going to build factories, and our high school educated people, they are going to train to do robotics, mechanics. You've never seen anything like what you're going to see, the renaissance of American manufacturing coming because Donald Trump is bringing it back. Could he make it any clearer that Trump's plan is to use robotics to bring back manufacturing to America? In fact, the Association for Advanced Automation, also known as A3, has already been in talks with the U.S. Congress this year. They're our largest automation trade association, representing more than 1,300 organizations involved in robotics, including multi-billion-dollar companies like Tesla, NVIDIA, and Intel. And A3 has presented its vision for a national robotics strategy with our government, including a central government robotics commission, implementation of tax incentives to drive adoption, and workforce training. And I believe we could be weeks away from this being rolled out, which could create a huge explosion of wealth for anybody who has positioned themselves to profit from robotics. With one little-known company linked to Elon and Optimus at the forefront, the only thing is, most people haven't been in the trenches of the tech world like I have, so they haven't been able to connect all the dots about what's been happening or what the next stage is. And that's why most people will be caught off guard and will miss out on this incredible wealth-generating opportunity. So now is the time to make your moves before it's too late and the biggest gains are gone for good. You see, I believe Trump and Musk have been working on this project together behind closed doors, and Trump is planning a huge announcement about a national robotic strategy to revive our manufacturing and truly usher in America's new golden age. While nothing has been confirmed, I believe this could happen on or before August 19th. August 19, 2021 was when Optimus was born. This was Tesla's first AI day when Optimus was first announced. The robot's 4th birthday is right around the corner, and it would be perfect timing for another Tesla AI day and the announcement of Trump's next move. And I believe certain stocks could go parabolic as a result. Remember, during Trump's last term, we saw gains as large as 1,481% in just 2 days, based on a single announcement about manufacturing. And of course, while I can't promise gains like that, this unveiling will be way, way bigger because it will signal one thing to the world. America is once again about to become the world's manufacturing superpower. That's why it's so important to get in early on the ground floor. Now, of course, Trump could let the cat out of the bag even sooner. He's not exactly known for holding back on social media. And that's why I recommend you position yourself as soon as possible. So, how can you profit from this robotic manufacturing revolution? Well, even though I'm bullish on Tesla and I think it belongs in every smart investor's portfolio, it's not Tesla I'm recommending you buy today. Because even though it's the company behind Optimus, Tesla, it's already worth $908 billion. And the biggest gains came years ago. Like when I first recommended the company in early 2018, allowing my readers to pocket gains of up to 2,263% if they held on. However, with this brand new opportunity on our doorstep, I believe investors could lock in even greater returns than that. You see, even though Tesla strives to make as much as possible in-house, there's one essential part required for Optimus, which they need to outsource, and that's where the opportunity lies. If all this plays out like I believe it will, when institutional investors hear about a national robotic strategy with Elon at the helm, I believe there will be a rush into the stocks of the company, which makes this essential part. And anyone who makes their moves now and positions themselves correctly could become very, very rich. But there is no time to waste. You see, a little-known company provides one critical piece of sensor technology that allows Tesla's self-driving cars to see. So it's a natural progression for it to supply Optimus with sensors as well. As I've shown you today, that ability to see is what sets Optimus apart from the kind of robots that have been in factories for decades, because it allows Optimus to react to its surroundings in real time. And that's what really makes the robot so world-changing. That's why I'm not surprised there's already a buzz forming around this little-known Tesla supplier. Morgan Stanley recently recommended this stock as one of the best ways to play the robotics movement. 144 hedge funds now hold the stock. However, this supplier is still under the radar for most investors, and I guess 99.99% of Americans have never heard of the company, but that could be about to change. And if Trump announces a national robotic strategy, I don't want you to miss out on the explosive gains this stock could see. And that's why I put all the details of the company inside a brand new special report entitled The Robotic Renaissance: How to Profit from Trump's $12 trillion Manufacturing Revolution. And I'd like to give you access to it right now, because if you wait, unfortunately, it could be too late. I've already shown you that timing is key with my past recommendations, just like with Bitcoin. Anyone who followed my recommendations could have been early to the game and potentially turned a single $1,000 investment into over $457,000. The same thing with NVIDIA. I called it way back in February of 2016, before it was on practically anyone's radar. And anyone who paid attention to me and held on until the top could have pocketed a 22,589% gain. And once again, it's the same story with Tesla. I picked it before the stock exploded, giving my readers the opportunity to pocket gains of up to 2,263%. But you need to know these huge opportunities can disappear as quickly as they arise. And that's why I want to send you my report right now, completely free of charge. All I ask in return is that you accept my offer to test drive my flagship investment newsletter, the Near Future Report, completely risk-free. In the Near Future Report, I uncover the little-known technologies that are on the verge of mass adoption before they hit the headlines. As you likely know, by the time the mainstream media catches on, the big money has already been made. And that's why it's my aim to clue my members in on the latest trends early and give them a chance to see the benefits in their bank accounts. Just like I did with Bitcoin, with Tesla, NVIDIA, and many, many other stocks before they came onto everyone's radar. For example, if you held on past their original recommendations and sold at their peak, you could have pocketed gains as high as 837% on Arista Networks, 813% on Palo Alto Networks, and 485% on Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSMC. And those are just a small handful of my market-beating winners from the past few years. Don't forget, you can try out the Near Future Report completely risk-free. And as soon as you do, I'll send you that special report that I mentioned, The Robotic Renaissance, How to Profit from Trump's $12 trillion manufacturing revolution, absolutely free. Now, typically, a one-year membership to the Near Future Report is priced at $499. But I believe the announcement of a national robotics strategy is potentially just around the corner. And I'm offering you a special discount today because I really don't want costs to stand in your way. And I truly don't want you to miss this. Before I share the full details of that discount, though, let me quickly tell you about a few other opportunities I'm really excited about. You see, Elon's Optimus robot isn't the only world-changing piece of technology that he's been working on. The rollout of Tesla's robotaxi began in Austin, Texas, a few weeks ago, and it just received its first regulatory approval in California, too. This breakthrough technology is a game changer, a taxi without a human driver, and it looks set to change the entire face of the transportation industry. People will be able to hail the taxi from their phones, then enjoy a safe ride in solitude as the car drives them autonomously to their destination. Now, check out this footage that Tesla shared to see just how revolutionary this is. This brand new form of taxi could snatch market share from Uber, a company which takes $40 billion in bookings every year. And this is all coming together incredibly fast. Musk plans to make 2 million of these cybercabs a year by 2026. In short, this robotaxi revolution is happening right now, and there's still a small window of time to potentially profit. You see, the self-driving technology relies on an essential memory chip to operate. The processor makes 500 trillion operations per second. So having a huge memory is paramount. That's why every single self-driving car needs these high-performance memory chips. It's no surprise the Motley Fool wrote, memory producers could be the companies that benefit the most from the grand new age of autonomous vehicles. And I found a little-known company that supplies Elon with this type of memory chip. And I put all the details, including the name and ticker symbol, into a report called Elon Musk's Silent Partner, How to Profit from His New $9 trillion Revolution. This report will also be yours at no additional charge the moment you join the Near Future Report. And I also want to give you access to another report called The AI Energy Saviors, How to Profit on AI's Number One Problem. The AI boom shows no sign of slowing down. But there's one big problem which could halt progress, and that's exactly where I believe the huge profit potential lies. You see, AI doesn't just think out of thin air. Every time someone types a question into something like ChatGPT or Grok, or asks an image generator to create a picture, or uses AI to write a long software program, it triggers vast computational resources somewhere in a massive data center. And these data centers are giant warehouses full of powerful computers working 24/7 to process those AI queries. The problem is, AI data centers are massive power hogs. Because of the processing speed and the sheer volume of data, the centers have to be cooled constantly. They require a cool, dry environment to operate, and that means they need a huge supply of power to run all that cooling equipment. In fact, the largest AI data centers use, on average, as much power as an entire city the size of Denver or Seattle. And worldwide, data centers are expected to eat up as much energy as a country the size of Japan by 2026. Elon Musk has even confessed that energy solutions for AI are his number one worry. The good news is, I pinpointed an under-the-radar company which is helping solve this problem by offering a far less energy-hungry way to cool systems. The company has nearly 60 years of experience cooling high-performance computing systems, and it got in on the AI boom early. Even though this company is decades old, an incredible 80% of its revenue already comes from serving data centers. The company's stock has already risen more than 10x since its IPO, and it looks like there's way more juice left to squeeze. Consider this. In 2023, about $10 billion was spent on data center cooling systems. But by 2028, this will balloon to over $50 billion. And I believe this company is set to capitalize and claim the lion's share of the market, potentially handing investors extraordinary gains. Now, you'll receive my entire report on this company, including the name and ticker symbol, for free when you sign up to the Near Future Report today. And like I mentioned, your normal cost for a one-year membership would be $499, but today you will get a huge discount. Just click the big Join Now button below to see exactly how much you can save, and I'll give you instant access to all of your reports. Now remember, you aren't taking on any risk when you try the Near Future Report. I'm giving you 60 days to test out the service, and if at any point during those 60 days you decide this isn't the best tech investing research you've ever seen, or for any reason at all, you can simply call our member services team and cancel your membership. And you'll receive a full refund on your order. No questions, no hassles. We'll even let you keep everything you've received as a member. That's right. You can keep all the issues. You can keep all these special reports that you see on your screen. The robotic renaissance, how to profit from Trump's $12 trillion manufacturing revolution. Elon Musk's silent partner, how to profit from his new $9 trillion revolution. The AI energy saviors, how to profit on AI's number one problem. You can keep everything. This means that there's no risk to you at all for this offer. So to get started, simply click on the button below, and as soon as you do, you'll be taken to another page where you can review everything one last time. Now look, if you're still not sure the Near Future Report is right for you, let me share a few emails that I got from my readers, and maybe that'll help you decide. Tim says, Jeff, I've been investing and working in the technology industry since 1985. Your insight and experience is easily the best I have ever read. I'm in my first year with you and have made good money with your recommendations. Thank you. Ruan says, I have been a loyal subscriber for some time now and greatly admire and appreciate the work you do to bring us readers such quality recommendations. Your newsletters are well worth their weight in gold. And Leonard says, just wanted you all to know that this is the most trustworthy news and picks I ever came across. Hands down, my portfolio is nothing now but Jeff's picks, and I am very pleased with how they are performing. The best newsletter published, period. Keep up the great work. Well, you could be the next success story, so please click on that button to get started, and when you do, I'll give you access to one more bonus report called the Crypto IRA Model Portfolio, 6 coins for the coming Trump boom. Now, it's no secret that crypto is responsible for truly explosive gains. My readers learned firsthand if they bought Bitcoin when I recommended it in 2015, because they could have turned a $1,000 investment into over $457,000. And Trump's crypto-friendly policies have just opened up a whole new world of opportunity in cryptocurrencies and digital assets. In a post on Truth Social, he promised, I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. And he's already created a strategic crypto reserve. But I'd wager most people haven't worked out how huge the opportunity is following his executive order 14178, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. You see, it finally allows companies to build their blockchain projects and not worry about being persecuted by the SEC. And I believe this change will unlock wealth-building opportunities for investors like never before. In particular, I pinpointed 6 cryptocurrencies which could see parabolic gains in the coming months, and I've shared all the names in this report. I also show you how to invest in them even if you've never touched crypto before. In fact, I've made it so simple you could follow this step-by-step guide even if you've never touched a computer before. And in many cases, you can even do it over the phone by talking to a real broker. Most people don't realize this is possible, and it's a shame because less tech-savvy people don't deserve to miss out on what could be huge gains from crypto. You'll also discover a uniquely tax-advantaged way to invest in crypto Because if you're pocketing gains in thousands of percent, those tax bills can soon mount up. And it's all in this free bonus report, which you'll receive in your inbox within minutes of signing up to your risk-free membership of the Near Future Report. So please click the button to get started right now. I truly believe Trump's potential upcoming $12 trillion manufacturing revolution is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and getting in early is key. Now, remember, we've seen Elon make quantum leaps in manufacturing before, and private investors were rewarded with extraordinary gains. With Neuralink, Musk manufactured a product most people thought was impossible, a brain-computer interface. For private investors who put $1,000 into Neuralink at inception, those shares would be worth around $50,000 today. With SpaceX, Elon manufactured another product many people said could never be done, a reusable rocket. And for venture capitalists who invested $1,000 into the company at its inception, they could sell those shares today for around $180,000 on the private market. He did it again with Tesla and again did something many thought was impossible and manufactured a car which can drive itself. If you had invested just $1,000 at IPO, you would now be sitting on around $267,000. And while we can't expect gains like this, the truth is, Elon, he keeps doing it over and over and over again. And if you missed out before, he's now handing you another chance. Musk himself said, I think Optimus will be more valuable than everything else combined. Because if you've got a sentient humanoid robot that is able to navigate reality and do tasks at request, there is no meaningful limit to the size of the economy. And I believe with Trump quietly behind him and a potential national robotic strategy in place, I don't think Elon is exaggerating one bit. So, can you imagine how huge this could be for American manufacturing? Can you imagine the economic boom this could create? And more importantly, can you imagine how huge it could be for your nest egg? If you invest before this technology potentially takes off like a rocket, this could truly be a source of generational wealth. That is why I want to make sure that you take me up on this opportunity today and claim your risk-free membership of the Near Future Report. You have 60 whole days to make sure it's right for you, so you really have nothing to lose. Please click the button to get started right now, and when you do, you'll receive all of my free reports to your inbox within moments of signing up. So just to recap, you'll receive The Robotic Renaissance, How to Profit from Trump's $12 trillion manufacturing revolution, where you'll discover the names and ticker symbols of the little-known companies essential for the production of Elon's humanoid robot Optimus. Elon Musk's silent partner, How to Profit from his new $9 trillion revolution. Inside this report, you'll discover the tiny memory chip makers supplying the brains behind Tesla's robotaxi fleet, a company positioned to ride the autonomous vehicle wave all the way to the top. This is your chance to stake a claim in the self-driving future before the masses catch on. The AI energy saviors, How to Profit on AI's number one problem. AI is booming and it's also overheating, literally. In this report, I reveal the company using decades of experience to solve AI's growing energy crisis with breakthrough cooling tech. With demand for cooling systems set to explode 5x, this company could become the ultimate AI play. The crypto IRA model portfolio, 6 coins for the coming Trump boom. Thanks to a little-known executive order and Trump's pro-crypto policies, a new crypto-friendly era is beginning. This report walks you step by step through the 6 coins that I believe are primed to soar and how to own them inside a tax-advantaged crypto IRA. What's more, you'll receive your edition of the Near Future Report every month, and I'll send you my latest research into the world's most disruptive technologies before they hit the headlines. Whether it's AI, robotics, biotech, energy, even space, if it has the potential to change the world and your wealth, you will hear about it from me first. You'll also get instant access to our full model portfolio, and it includes every active recommendation, complete with buy-up-to prices, updates, and sell alerts. So you're never left wondering what to do next. It's a simple, clear roadmap to navigate the future's biggest profit trends. Plus, you'll receive urgent updates and flash alerts the moment that something changes. If breaking news affects one of our positions or opens the door to a new opportunity, I will let you know immediately. All this is included with your risk-free membership to the Near Future Report. Just please keep in mind, all investing carries risk, and past performance is no guarantee for future returns. So, please click the button on your screen to secure your membership, and remember, there's no time to waste here. Trump has to rescue America's manufacturing to protect the U.S. from China. And as I've shown you, it needed to happen yesterday. It's why he's been so aggressive with tariffs and trade wars. And it's why I believe Trump could announce a national robotics strategy in the next few weeks, or even sooner if Trump gets trigger happy on social media and tweets out his plans. While nothing has been confirmed, if they announce this strategy, stocks in certain companies linked to robotics could go parabolic. And if you wait for this to hit the headlines, I'm afraid to say you will miss out. So please, click the button below to lock in your membership to the Near Future Report and find out the names and ticker symbols of all the companies that will let you capitalize on this huge opportunity. I'm Jeff Brown. Thank you for watching, and remember, we have so much to look forward to.